The top 7 money mistakes that business owners make. I'm Jenna Van Leeuwen at Aligning Wealth, and I help business owners turn their business success into personal financial freedom. So, number one, the biggest mistake I see business owners make is that they don't stay on top of their profit and loss. There are a few pieces to this. So, one would be not keeping up with your bookkeeping. You have things that you're doing that are moving the business forward. You are trying to be the person working in the business instead of on the business. And so bookkeeping doesn't always make it to the top of the list. However, if you don't know how much you're making and you don't know how much you're spending, you don't know how much profit you have. And ultimately, your business is here to make profit. And so if you don't have the time to do it yourself and you want to concentrate on something else, this is when it makes sense to hire a bookkeeper to do it for you, because you really need to know what's going on in the business in order to make good business decisions as a business owner. There are a few things here about why you'd want to be in touch with your profit and loss. For one thing, the money coming in and out is going to probably be lumpy. And so you need to know, I have this chunk of cash here. How long does it need to last me until I think I'm going to get my next chunk of cash in from another client? So if you can see what your profit and loss is and then project it forward, that will help you answer that decision. Another thing is that you need to know how profitable each one of your projects is. Do you have a client that is not bringing in a lot of money but is taking up a lot of time? If you are tracking in your profit and loss things by client or by project, you'll be able to know whether or not you're actually making the money you think you are for each individual client. Being in touch with your profit and loss also helps you establish a target income. So whenever you have a paycheck that you'd like to take home, how much do you actually really truly need to make in the business in order to get your goal income at home? And so if you are looking at this profit and loss and you're looking at what's coming in and how long it's lasting, you can know, hey, I need to pull some things in. I need to try to get more clients. Things are not really trending the way I want to, and I can take action now so that way you're not, impacting things at home in the end by not, knowing that things are not going well because you just haven't even looked at your profit and loss. Mistake number 2. As a business owner, you need to have a target income that's going to work for you for the long haul. So as a business owner, you start out and at first you're not making money. You're investing into the business and you're just trying to build the revenue up so that way you can actually have that profit. Sometimes though, we just kind of get in the mode of, incrementally growing, and we don't take a step back to say, hey, what do I truly want to make in the business and what do I need for my life long term? So there are a few pieces to this. It's how much you're actually spending for your personal expenses, but then you also need expenses to grow the business that needs to be a part of it. And you also need expenses to save for yourself personally. You need to have investments outside of your business, and you need to have a target for those as well. So when you look at how much you need to spend with taxes, marketing, your personal necessary expenses, your personal discretionary expenses, your personal expenses, how much does that add up to? And how much do you really, truly need to make in the business to make all of this stuff work? Mistake number 3. Business owners sometimes get so wrapped up into building a business that they forget about what they need to make their life happier overall. So a business it's fun to build something, to grow something, but and then also, if you're worried about like feeding your family, you really want to have the business be in a good place so that way you're not, letting anybody down in your personal life. But it also is a huge mistake at some point to go after only the money, to grow bigger, chase revenue, and not take a step back and say, hey, how is the business serving me? How is my personal life? Like, what is the point of building wealth if you're not living the life you want to live and you don't have the family and friends around you that you want to have? So that's another huge mistake, is to pursue money at the expense of everything else in your life. Money mistake number 4 for business owners. Business owners oftentimes like to reinvest in other businesses, and they like to invest in real estate. They like to invest in things that are illiquid. And it makes sense. You built a successful business once. You have the potential to grow your wealth through your own active endeavors. It's a great thing. However, It does make sense to make sure that you have enough liquidity outside your business. So you don't want to be in a position where you are making bad decisions because everything is so tied up in stuff that you don't have access to. So you need to have some amount of cash on hand for emergencies. And I do think it makes sense to have a brokerage account or something like that that gives you flexibility in your personal life instead of just automatically going for 100% into businesses, real estate, and illiquid assets like that. Mistake number 5. Business owners oftentimes need to think a bit about the balance between how much money they put into the business versus how much they keep to the personal life. So this is not a straightforward thing. There's not one size fits all answer. I have seen it where clients will sort of sacrifice their personal life and keep pouring tons and tons of dollars into the business. So something goes wrong and they just, they put off their home renovation year after year after year because they keep trying to pour money into the business to either expand or to fix something that's gone wrong. But I've also seen cases where people try to pull money out of the business so much that they don't have money there to help it grow. So there's a balance there between how much money you take out of your personal life and put in the business and how much money you take from the business and put in your personal life. So it's hard to have that perspective. And that's one of the things that you might want to talk to a mastermind group about. Someone like me could help you have that conversation. You could have that kind of conversation with a bookkeeper, with your CPA. But it's just something to be aware of is the balance between how much money you take out of the business, so that way you're not starving it for growth, but you also are not overly sacrificing your personal life either. Mistake number 6 that business owners make. A lot of times people will look at planning their money over the current tax year. So they'll say, hey, I made money this year. How can I spend less on taxes this year? What kind of expenses could I deduct off of my income? And how can I push income from this year into next year? So that's a good conversation to have, but the thing is you kind of want to take it to the next level and you want to ask yourself, how does this year compare to my historical income? So if you're having a really good year, yes, push income into next year. But if you're expecting to continue to grow, next year is probably going to be a higher income year than this year. So why would you push off income into a year where you're expecting to pay even more taxes? So instead of thinking about this year only, think about your income over good years and bad years. And on bad years, try to pull in income. On good years, try to push out income. But think about more than one year. Think about multiple years. Mistake number 7, not thinking about the end game as you're building your business. So for business owners, one of their biggest assets is their business themselves. And so if you are looking to try to exit, you might say, hey, how can I get some value out of this to continue to build my wealth? And the big mistake that we see here is that people don't think about what it actually takes in order to sell their business. So if it's you doing 100% of the work, you're doing all the marketing, you're the brand of the business, you're the visionary that's leading it forwards, how is someone going to step in and replace you? Because you're everything. So you have to think about building your business to be something that has a sellable value way before you actually want to exit. So what can you do now to make it so that way you actually have something that can build your wealth long term and that you can sell to someone else? If you don't want to sell to an outside party, maybe you want to do it internally, you have to build up the people that can replace you. Every single thing that you do, you have to find somebody that can replace you. And that takes a long time too. So if you really want to propel your wealth forward as a business owner, you have to think about what it takes to exit from the very beginning.